Good morning, class. So, hope all of you are doing well. We start with in the last class, we were discussing about an initial public offering, that is, the way in which the company raises, one of the ways in which the company raises funds from the market and from the primary market for the very first time, and how a green shoe option helps in stabilization of prices post the listing of the shares in the stock market. How is it beneficial to the firm? What are the parties involved? We had discussed the working in detail. This is one example of green shoe option being exercised in one of the most famous IPOs of Facebook, which happened back in 2012. There also, I'm sorry, there also the share prices were stabilized because there was an oversubscription of shares at that time. But post the listing, there was a fall in price of the Facebook share, and therein the underwriters, through the exercise of green shoe option, were able to stabilize the shares by purchasing the extra 15% shares which were allotted to them. And they also made a neat profit, as I told you. If the share price plunges, then what happens is that the underwriter will start buying the shares from the open market so as to increase the demand of the shares, and then return the shares to the promoter जिससे उसने borrow करे थे shares. Okay, so this was about green shoe option, but it is IPO is not the only route through which the shares are introduced in the primary market or the company is raising funds. There are other routes also, so let's have a look at them. Significance of exercising the green shoe option. The basic purpose, as I told you, is to stabilize the price and avoid a bad impression in the mind of the investor. That is actually the primary objective of green shoe option, that in the initial 30 days they try to stabilize the price. Okay, so I was saying that placement of IPO can take place through more routes also. One of the routes which we discussed right now is that we are going for simple IPO in the primary market through the prospectus route, opening it to the general public. So, as discussed earlier, prospectus is an invitation by the firm to the public to subscribe to the shares of the firm. It is giving all the details about what the company is, what has been the past performance of the company, what is it looking in the future like, and what are the future prospects of the company, what has been the, say, dividend allocation to the shareholders, and so all everything about the company which can influence the decision making of a potential investor is mentioned in the prospectus. So this becomes one of the simplest and one of the most common routes through which the company approaches the general public. Now, again, pricing of the issue, the details are mentioned in the prospectus. Now, generally, what is the popular route in our market, in the Indian market, is the book building issue, जहाँ पर price band mentioned होता है कि आप ये लोअर प्राइस है, ये हायर प्राइस है, आप इस रेंज में यू कैन अप्लाई फॉर द शेयर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. Okay, now there the investor, the potential investor or the applicant will mention that these are the number of shares and this is the price at which I am willing to purchase the shares. So that price band needs to be followed. If you are going for an issue with a fixed price, then that is also mentioned in the prospectus. Now, apart from this, the second method of offering the shares or raising funds from the primary market is to go for offer for sale. Now, bought out deals or offer for sale, what does it mean? Now, not every company is comfortable with going through the entire process of IPO on its own. So, this is more of outsourcing. कंपनी क्या कर रही है, अपने शेयर्स जो वो पब्लिक में अलॉट करना चाह रही है, वो डायरेक्टली उनको सेल कर रही है एक इंटरमीडियरी को. तो दैट कैन बी एन इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, उसको शेयर सेल कर रही है. और अब जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है शेयर्स को आगे पब्लिक में अलॉट करने की, वो पास ऑन हो गई है टू दैट मर्चेंट बैंकर, sorry, or to that investment banker. So what is happening is that this is complete outsourcing of the entire share allotment process, share application, share allotment process. So say the company is new in the market, it's not having that much expertise, or it is not willing to go through the entire process. It finds a convenient way out. So it is, again, obviously, if it is offering the shares to the merchant banker, then that will be at a lower price as compared to the price at which now the intermediary will offer the shares to the general public. Okay, so the latest example for offer for sale would be IRCTC, that subsequent to जो IPO उनका आया market में, now they have raised more funds from offer for sale. Okay, so firms, they find this to be a backup option और फॉलो अप ऑप्शन पोस्ट दी आईपीओ. अगर ऐसा लगता है कि शेयर्स की अभी भी बहुत डिमांड है मार्केट में, तो आप अपने आईपीओ के बाद कुछ टाइम के बाद you can take up this route to raise more funds. So if I talk about IRCTC, तो background ये है, all of you know that this government is emphasizing a lot on disinvestment. So what is disinvestment? How do we define disinvestment? Anyone? Now, IRCTC was predominantly and still is predominantly a government owned company. What is a disinvestment? Yes, private ownership of a government owned company. So basically, yes, anyone else would like to add? What happened? Okay. So yes, Ayushi, company here, when we talk about disinvestment, the company is specifically a government-owned entity, a government-owned company. And what the government is doing is that it is reducing its stake, its shareholding in the company. Okay, now the purpose behind this is, say the government wants to exit from the company in stages and raise more funds. That is what our government is doing right now. Obviously, this is a very tricky situation for the government, especially if that company is making profits. So when I talk about disinvestment, then the first example that hits our mind, coming from history, one of the most controversial disinvestment decisions of the government. Can anyone name that company? Still till date, we say that this disinvestment was not required for one of the earliest disinvestments in Indian history. कौन से PSU की disinvestment हुई थी back in 90s, which you can think of, which is still questionable today also, that this was not required. No one can even guess the name of the company. So have you heard about Balco? BALCO, Bharat Aluminium Company. नो नॉट हर्ड. चलो आज का 5 मिनट्स का आपका होमवर्क यही है दैट प्लीज रीड अबाउट द बाल्को डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट. दैट विल बी द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट विल डिस्कस टुमारो. ओके. सो डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट विल डू आई थिंक आपके सिलेबस में भी. यस, बाल्को पहले था आयुषी. सो रीड अबाउट दिस केस, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. तो जो भी डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट के ऑपोजिशन में होते हैं लोग, देयर इज अ स्टेटमेंट बीइंग said in con or against the disinvestment that it is like selling of family silver. So it is not always beneficial. So if you read about this case, you will get to know that it was still a profit making PSU, and at that point of time the government exited. And what all is this, what all was the controversy about around this case, we'll discuss. We'll take 5 7 minutes tomorrow and we'll discuss this case. So please google, take 5 minutes from your precious browsing time which you have during the day, and read about Balco. Okay. So coming back to offer for sale, as I told you कि IRCTC में गवर्नमेंट क्या कोशिश कर रही है, धीरे धीरे अपना डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करना to reduce its stake in IRCTC. And with this offer for sale, I think if I remember the number, 80 lakh more shares were offered from this route by IRCTC, and the government has reduced its stake from around 80% to 75 76%. IPO plus जो offer for sale हुआ है उसके through. And the government every year in the budget also lays down the disinvestment target. So because of this these two things, the government has actually met the disinvestment target of the current financial year. Okay. So bought out sale, the company is relieved from the trouble of selling shares. Now in India, not a mandatory route, but if I talk about US, you have a look at this point, then there is no first method, and offer for sale is the compulsory route to issue the shares to the public. But no such compulsion is there in case of our stock markets. Okay, and then one more thing, hold on period hota hai. Hold on period hota hai time period between which the company, so from the point where the company passes on the shares to the intermediary, who's here specifically known as the issuing house, the issuing house will then decide when to issue the shares to the public, keeping in mind what are the market situations and the sentiment of the public. Okay, so hold on period can last from 70 days to 1 year to more than a year also. So now it is totally the discretion of the issuing house for how long it wants to hold the shares which have been allotted. Okay, then moving further, what are the advantages? So, as I told you, you are a new company, you are a small or a medium company, no expertise with respect to the primary market, and you are already facing some working capital shortages, and this is a very long route through which you will be getting funds, so you find it easier to approach a good intermediary and immediately get funds, avoid the uh, cumbersome process of moving to the primary market. Cost is reduced for the company in this regard. Okay, next coming to private placement. Again, a very popular route through which the companies raise funds. What is private placement? So you are placing your shares privately, and the company is placing them privately with handful of students, and still there's no response. Why? What is private placement? Never heard of this term? Yes, Ashu, tell. If you need time, take a minute, type in the chat box. What about others? Should I call out names then?
It's
Yes,
it it's when a company just gives its shares to some private entities, like, yeah, it could be family or it could be some private. It doesn't basically floats its shares in the market or in form of IPO. It just
yes.
wants its ownership to be between the people they know.
Yeah, so it is more of a concentrated ownership then. बहुत एट लार्ज पब्लिक को ऑफर नहीं करना चाह रही, कुछ स्पेसिफिक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को या बड़े इन्वेस्टर्स को अप्रोच करती है, यस, चोजन इन्वेस्टर्स, एंड देन दे आर ऑफर्ड दी शेयर्स. So you're not going completely public with the share issue to avoid a lot of interference in the working of the company. You find it convenient to approach a handful of prospective investors, give them a briefing, give them all the information about the uh, company, and then placing the shares with them. Okay, so again, the benefit to the firm is that it is a more convenient route for the firm, and then as you told Ashu that the concentration is not being diluted, the ownership is still being concentrated in a few hands, so you avoid that interference in the decision making process subsequently. One of the more popular points with respect to private placement are कि generally private placement debt issue में होती है as compared to equity issue, and one of the most recent examples from the Indian scenario is the private placement of bonds of the Indian bank. तो डेट इशू में ज़्यादा पॉपुलर है प्राइवेट प्लेसमेंट, बिकॉज इशू ऑफ डेट कैन बी टेलर मेड अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर इंस्टीट्यूशन और कंपनी. ओके, सो पहले 50 थी लिमिट दैट यू कैन अप्रोच 50 इंडिविजुअल्स. Won't it mean that investors ask for higher returns than usual? Uh, if you, I think विदिशा आप बॉन्ड इशू की डेट इशू की बात कर रहे हो, उस पे आप इंटरेस्ट की बात कर रहे हो.
Yes, huh?
बेटा नेगोशिएशन होती है, बट ऑब्वियसली नेगोशिएशन कैन बी अप टू अ लिमिट. यस, there is a very big possibility that the financial institution will look for more favorable terms from the company because of this private placement thing, but फिर वो टू वे नेगोशिएशन होती है. Okay. So yes, both the parties are actually saving a lot of effort by communicating directly on the table with each other. तो वो टू वे नेगोशिएशन होती है. Apart from this, earlier the limit of the parties or the individuals who could be approached under private placement was 50. Now it has been raised to 200 under the New Companies Act. So, as we have discussed the concept, the advantages are very clear. It is more cost and time effective for the firm, Since it can be modified, customized, the issue becomes more structure effective. It is a more flexible issue, and access becomes effective. So a company finds it easier to raise funds in this manner. Okay. After that, next type of next route to raising funds, and again a very comparatively simple route is to go for a rights issue. So what is a right issue? What is a right issue? Yes, यशवर्धन, राइट्स इशू क्या होता है?
मैम मेरे को जितना पढ़ के समझ में आया कि राइट इशू जो जो पहले से शेयर होल्डर्स होते हैं, जब बोर्ड में जो भी होते हैं उनको चांस मिलता है जो
हाँ,
शेयर्स।
बिल्कुल। हाँ, absolutely correct, Piyush. You are also correct. When the existing shareholders are first offered the fresh shares of the company, it is a rights issue. So basically, before giving the option to the public to subscribe to new shares of the company wishes to offer those shares to the existing shareholders. Then again, as compared to the public, these shares will be offered to the existing shareholders at a lower price. Okay, and this is a proportional allotment. So if you have a look here, say 1 is to 20, it means for every 20 shares held by the shareholder, by the existing shareholder, he is being given or an offer to get one more share. Now, this is an offer. Obviously, offer means that the investor, the shareholder, can decline this offer also if he or she is not interested. So, it is a proportional allotment, and this allotment is being made, this offer is being made at a price which will be lower than the market price to motivate the existing shareholders. Why would a company go for this route? What is the basic objective
मैम
behind
लॉयल्टी,
this? हाँ,
लॉयल्टी मतलब ज्यादा जल्दी वो लोग खरीद लेंगे।
हाँ, एक रीजन ये है कि जो ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर होल्डर्स हैं वो कंपनी के बारे में ज्यादा जानते हैं, सो दे माइट बी मोर रिस्पॉन्सिव to this issue as compared to the general public. What apart from this can be a reason for rights issue? Yes, any other reason you can think of? Okay, cost, time. Again, cost and time effectiveness is more here. बट प्राइमरी रीजन क्या होगा कि हम एग्जिस्टिंग शेयर होल्डर्स के पास ही जा रहे हैं? इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या होगा? यस, मानवी, कैन यू थिंक ऑफ अ रीजन? तो यस, मोटिवेशन भी है पीयूष, बट यस, आयुषी एंड आशु, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. The company does not want to dilute the ownership. The company wants that the ownership should be concentrated among the existing shareholders only. Again, no new parties should be added to the decision making process. So, it is better to keep the insiders in proper what will be the word, to keep the insiders in confidence, and keeping them an integral part of the company, not adding any new parties to the company. That would be the primary objective of the rights issue. शेयर ऑप्शंस, ऑप्शंस स्पेसिफिकली आप ऑप्शंस यहाँ पर क्या यूज कर रहे हो, टर्म किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आशु? You can elaborate this question.
Um, it's like when we
I didn't get your question. If you can type in the question, I'll try and answer it. Okay, you just type the question. By that time, I'll just discuss the conditions and then I'll try to answer that question. So, if you have a look at the conditions to issue rights share, so there is a proportional offer which is made, and the number of shares to be issued needs to be specified. The time given to accept the offer should not be less than 15 days. So it is again an optional offer made, and all permissions need to be taken for a rights issue also. If I talk about a recent example, Shoppers Stop has given a rights issue to its existing shareholders, and after the expiry of the time period allotted, if there is not a very good response from the existing shareholders, then the next step is decided by the board of directors as to how they now want to offer those shares in the subsequent stages. Okay, so we have talked a lot about how and through what routes the company can raise funds in the market. Now, there are three parties basically when the firm comes up with an IPO: retail investor, institutional investor, and HNI, high net worth high net worth investor. So retail investors are those who make or who are applying for shares up to a maximum amount of rupees 2 lakh. Qualified institutional investors or qualified institutional buyers, QIBs, are registered institutions, specifically registered as institutional investors under SEBI, and they make a very uh, high quantity application. Okay, around 50% is reserved for qualified institutional buyers, and then you have HNIs. HNIs apply for more than rupees 2 lakh of worth of shares under an IPO. Okay, apart from that, there is another term which is used with respect to IPO, which is a ASBA, application supported by blocked amount. So ASBA क्या होता है? Basically, it is one of the terms in the share application process which is used. So until and unless the shares are allotted to the applicant, the application money remains blocked in a separate bank account. So, if that the shares which have been applied for are allotted, then that money is transferred to the bank account of the company, else the money needs to be returned back to the unsuccessful applicant. That is application supported by ASPA. So the applicant's account does not get debited until the shares are allotted to them. Then some other common terms which are used. One is a dematerialization. All of you know there's no physical holding of share certificates now. Now the shares are directly transferred to the demat account of the shareholder, and they are transferred by the depository participants. Though depository participants are basically depository जो participant है DP जो है, they are holding the shares in electronic form. It is a repository of the shares of the company, and they are the ones who are responsible to transfer the shares to the successful applicant. And there are two depositories in India, NDSL, NSDL, and CSDL. So you are free to open an account with any of the DPs for DMAT. So simple, what are the benefits? No loss of the share certificate, no spoilage, no theft, no damage, no stamp duty, faster transfer of the shares. That is the benefit of the dematerialization process. Okay, next is the book building route of raising funds through an IPO. This we'll take up tomorrow then.